Hello. Okay, Loyd Senior checking in. Well, it's almost Wednesday. It's actually Tuesday evening. And I am going to make a stew. And that stew is going to cook overnight. And it's going to be lunch tomorrow. It's going to be a very simple stew. Hopefully everything will come out all right. And we'll get to enjoy it tomorrow. I have about 1.5 pounds of steak here that I cubed up that I will put in the frying pan and braise it a little bit. I also added about 4 ounces of Worcestershire sauce and about 1/2 teaspoon of what they call liquid smoke. And I've had this marinating. I've kind of turned the meat over several times in there. And that's going to be fried up, or should I say braised, hopefully, before it goes into the stew. But to get things started, I'll tell you what we've got here and what's going in. Alright? I have my old faithful crock pot, which I've just turned on. I am going to add 1 18.5-ounce can of Progresso French onion soup. And it's a heck of a great way to make a stock for a beef stew. And I have about, I haven't measured it, so I probably will do that as I go here. We're going to have 3 cups of potatoes are going in there right now. And I'm going to measure this out so I see what I have. This is organic beef stock. All right. And that gives me 3 cups. That's going in. Okay, we have that. We have 2 cups of carrots. Cut up, they're pretty good size. I've left them fairly good size carrots. The potatoes were also fairly good chunked, and we got, I'm a crazy one for onions, so we have some onions, and they're kind of about that size. They're all going to go in there. All right. I keep blocking the camera, I'm sure. I have 1 can of stems and pieces mushrooms to go in. Oh. 1 can of diced tomatoes, no salt added. It's a 14.5-ounce can. All right. About 1/8 cup of parsley. Add on top of that. And I will give it a little bit of Old Bay to start with. Just kind of give it a sprinkle. And let that go like that. Okay, so the stew has the basic ingredients in it at the moment. I don't think I missed anything. And what I will be doing is I'm going to be heating up my skillet so I can braise my meat real good, and then we'll put that in there. So I'm going to shut off the camera now for a little bit and heat up the frying pan. Alrighty now, Loyd Senior's back. I got my frying pan going here. I had the meat marinating in the marinade sauce of Worcestershire sauce and a Worcestershire sauce, I guess, and some liquid schmook, 1/2 teaspoon of liquid smoke mixed in. So my plan now is to braise this meat, and I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. Because there's so much liquid in meat nowadays, I swear. But if you get too much in there, you're just going to start boiling the meat. I'm hoping my smoke alarm doesn't go off. When these get browned up, I'm going to put them in a bowl and then I'll dump the whole 9 yards into the stew. That's what's happening in here. I'm going to turn off the camera. I don't think you care to watch me brown all of this stuff up, but so I will turn off the machine and continue braising the meat. Checking out. Well, I'm back. I'm just finishing braising the last little bit of the meat here. So I figured I'd put this back on, let you know how we're going to finish up this little portion. So that's what the meat looks like, nice and braised. You can see all that brown stuff in the bottom. That's not going to go to waste. Once you get this done, it's browned up nicely and it's just about there. I'm going to turn that heat down. So it's braised up. Everybody get nice and browned in. Alright, I'd say that's pretty well browned up. And that's going to go in this pan, in that bowl right there, excuse me. And this is the last of the marinade and the juices that the meat was in. Going back in here. And we're going to save all that. It's going in the stew. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it so I don't lose any. It's stick here. Turn that off for a moment. There we go. Alright. All that delicious meat juices. Alright. Put that right in with the meat, and then that's all going to go into the crockpot. Alrighty now. Stay out of trouble here, blocking the camera, I'm sure. Bring this out a little ways. Alright. So that's what's left of 1.5 pounds of meat. And it's going in the stew. Now they work it all around, get everything mixed in here. I'll be adding some more liquid to this, there's no doubt about that. I'll let you know how much I put in. Alright, so we have the meat in, we have this still on high right now. Pretty soon I'll be turning it back down to low and just let it do its thing in the slow mode. Loyd Senior checking out. Okay, just a quick follow-up here. It's about 8:35 in the evening on Tuesday evening. Crockpot is on high. The meat has been added. I added 3 cups of water to this, so that brings up the recipe up to this point, right gets to where we're at. I will be throttling back the heat a little bit later on in the evening, and it'll go on, stay on low all night. And we'll see what happens in the morning. And I will perhaps sticking it a little bit with either some flour or some cornstarch. I haven't decided which yet, but that's where we're at the moment. So Loyd Senior checking out, and I'm going to go see if I can't catch a little bit of the ball game. Okay, I'm back just for a few seconds here. So about 9:26 in the evening, I started this at somewhere around 7 o'clock, I believe. What I have here is I've got 2 tablespoons of warmed all-purpose flour, and about, I say we got a 1/2 cup of water, and it's all been mixed in. And what I'm going to do is slowly add this into the stew. There, just blend it right in. That should tighten things up just a little bit. I'm hoping that does it. All right. So we have that done. So I've added 2 tablespoons of flour as a thickener for my stew. And let's see how that works out. The thing about flour, you can always add some, but you don't want to turn it to paste in there, so you don't want to add too much. So, Loyd Senior checking out. My stew is going to be going on to the low mode now and just going to let it go all night. Loyd Senior checking out. Well, I'm back for a minute or two. Just finished watching the Red Sox lose the game this evening. And all of a sudden a thought comes across my mind that I forgot that I had some celery that I'd purchased and it was tucked away in the fridge, and I checked it and it's still in pretty good shape. So I am going to add 1/2 cup of celery to my stew. Well, it's one of the joys of using the crock pot. You can always put a little bit more in it as you go along. And it still has quite a few hours to go, so everything's going to get blended in. And I thought I'd bring up the camera just for a second and let you know what I did. So Loyd Senior checking out, probably till tomorrow. Good morning, Loyd Senior checking in. The stew is coming along fine. Late last night, I did do a little bit of tune-up on it. I did add 1 more tablespoon of flour that was mixed with water, just to add a little bit more consistency to it, and 1 beef bouillon cube. And that's the extent of what I did last night with it. And it was on low all night with the cover on. This morning when I get up and checked it, it was coming along just fine. And what I have done is I've taken the regular cover off and put this little screen cover on it for now. And what it does, if you get the cover on there, even on low, it's going to tend to simmer and boil a little bit. And I really wanted to get it so it was going to keep it nice and hot, maybe gas off a little bit of moisture, but keep it warm. So that's where we're at. It's still on, but with the cover, a sealed cover off and a screen cover sitting on top of it. And I'm about to do a little experiment here. So I'm trying to make some biscuits to go with our beef stew. And I'm just using it's called a baking and pancake mix, nothing fancy, old country store it says on it. And so we're making the biscuits, and I've got the oven coming up to temperature, which is supposed to be 425. I got my flour mix, as they said, and one thing I'm going to go that's different than the recipe, which is just the regular biscuits. I'm going to see if I can't mix in a little bit of cheddar cheese in the whole batter. And what I'm doing is it's only a 1/4 cup. I'm not going to go crazy with it. It's going to be very, very light. But I'm hoping it make a little bit of a difference, maybe enhance the flavor. Who knows? Anyways, I'll kind of open up the middle here a little bit, push the stuff to the side. I have the required amount of milk here, and it's I'm going to take 2/3 of a cup of milk, which I put in the center, and then I'm just going to work everything right in here and see what happens. Yep, making a gooey mess here at the moment. Right here. See right now that I'm going to put a little bit more flour on there. Oh my gosh, that's my ancient dog there. Okay, let's see if we can't get this onto the board. I'll put some flour and tighten it up a little bit here. Oh, this is, could be a disaster here, but we'll see in a minute. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. All right, yeah. Not the easiest stuff to get rid of at the moment. We'll do it. All right. Hands cleaned off a little bit here. That one. They say nothing ever comes out always as you planned it, but we'll see what we can rescue some of this and finish the job here. Alright, now get me some flour on my hands here and some little flour on the flour here. Yeah, things are looking up a little bit now. Oh, sounds like the oven's ready to go, huh? All right here. Fix this up here a little bit. Yeah, we keep working at it here. Get it all together as much as I can. All right. Well, I mind if the old guy sits down for a bit here. See if I can roll this out a little bit without it sticking. Try to get something sort of like almost square. That's what I like to get here before I'm done. Alright. There we go. We'll see if I can't come up with about just 4 biscuits here that I can put on my tray. Well, hopefully I can slide these on here. Alright, not very attractive, but we'll see what happens when we get out there. Okay, no guarantees. It's a very small batch, but such it is. There's only 2 of us, so 4 biscuits should be just fine. Alright, it says 12 minutes. Timer. 1, 2, 0, 0. Start. Alright. Well, keep an eye on those. No need of leaving the camera on, right? And we'll catch up on this one. It's just about time to eat. Check it out. Well, my biscuits are done. They're sitting on top of the stove on the plate here. And they're not my world's greatest creations, but I think they're going to work just fine. What I'm going to do is put them on a plate, a couple on the plate on the side, and then we'll put the stew in the bowls and have some lunch, and we'll let you know how everything worked out. So I believe the stew will be good. I've already had it. My daughter gave it a test this morning. So next thing will be is the biscuits work out. I think we'll have a good day, and we can call this Crockpot Beef Stew with biscuits on the side. So I'm going to check out and wait for my guest of honor to arrive, and we're going to have some lunch. Check it out. All right, well, it is 12:10, and we're about to have lunch, and I'm blocking the camera again, I'm sure. But anyhow, we have some stew over here, which I am going to stir up a little bit and fill a bowl. Oh, I think it looks beautiful. Let's see if I can get it onto the camera a little bit here. Look at that, nice big chunks of potatoes and carrots and onions in there. A few mushrooms hiding down the bottom. And we're going to put some juice in there. All right. There's number one. And I'm going to put number two. There's. So I said when I started this, there's over 1.5 pounds of beef went into this stew. So there's no lacking of beef. All right. Got that, and a little bit more for this. Okay, I know. There we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I have a couple over there. Get caught in the rigging. I have some biscuits hiding under here, and what I plan to do is give each one of us a couple of biscuits. There on the side. Dip them in your stew if you want, or break them off and butter them up some more. I did put a little bit of butter as they were finishing off the oven. I put a little bit of butter on top and let it melt into them. Well, there we have it. This is lunch as it is, and we'll check back in when we find out just how delicious this is. Loyd Dussault Sr. checking out. Yeah, Loyd Dussault Sr. checking back in. We have had lunch. My worry about the biscuit was unfounded. They were delicious. Friend Paul enjoyed it. Matter of fact, he's taking a biscuit home with him, and Paul does not usually take anything home with him. And for dessert, I made this really technical pie here. It's one of those where you buy the pie crust and then you pour a couple of chocolate puddings into it. And it was wonderful. We have the soup. The stew came out absolutely fantabulous. I couldn't ask for it to be any better. If anybody wants to give it a go, I pretty much follow fairly close to that recipe. I think they'll be quite happy with the end result. So we'll be signing off. Another Blue Plate special for Wednesday Blue Plate special. Under the belt, I guess, as you could say. And when this cools off, it'll be leftovers for me for a few days. So check it out. Enjoy the stew.